Yo, what's good, party people in the place to be? Welcome to Old School Knicks. I'm your man, Uncle Freezie. I'm joined by the star of the joint and the host, Anthony D. Anthony D, what's good?
Good morning, Uncle Freezie. Good morning, Nick Nation. Hopefully everybody's having a peace and a blissful Sunday. What's good with you, Uncle Freezie?
Same man, same old man. Looking forward to talking these Knicks. Looking forward to talking these Knicks, man. Looking to talking about 4 hours straight of Herb Williams.
Mm.
So Herb Williams. Yeah, man.
Hey, Herb is, as I've stated over the years, Herb is a good company man that has remained gainfully employed for some 20 some odd years with the New York Knicks. A lesson to you young people out there. You know, be careful of the people that you meet on your way up, because they're gonna be the same people that you meet on your way down.
Yeah.
And they may just leave you down,
Yeah.
depending on how you met them on the way up.
Yeah.
So shout out to Herb Williams.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And they may meet you on the way up also. A lot of
Yeah,
these people that come in, they extend, they make their way to the top somehow also.
absolutely.
I learned that over the years. I learned that over the years. Some guys you meet, they like the runners in your company, and then when they come back, they like the project managers. You're like, what? It's only been 12 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, it's been a long 12 years, Uncle Freezy. Yeah,
it's been a long 12.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's how
Absolutely.
it
So
works.
be careful. You be careful of those folks. Absolutely.
All right, all right.
All right. So where are we starting this morning? Are we starting with the current state of affairs? I think we should. I think we should start there. The current state of affairs with the New York Knickerbockers, and preseason ending. This is the beginning of a new season, so I think it's only right we start there.
Okay, all right. Let's start there. Right.
I read the article this morning, and in preparing for the show and so forth. But as I'm sure everyone does, we we take in as much information on our team as we can. But I read an article this morning that I didn't even realize this stat of how bad Fournier was shooting for the preseason. And you know, sometimes it starts from these little moments where fans get a little, I told you so. Maybe we shouldn't have. And he's not the one. Blah 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 blah. And I wasn't one that was clamoring for Fournier, because when we got him at the time, I remember me calling it a 40-degree day. But I'm also not the one after 4 preseason games, to sound the trumpets that we need to be worried about this guy who's a professional scorer for his career. I think, what is he averaging for his career? 17, something to that effect. A professional scorer. So give me your thoughts on it.
Man, it's way too early. It's way too early to panic on Evan Fournier, bro. Hey, shout out to Kelly King, Jerry. Otherwise, what's good? Pudge Nice is in the building. Roll Far Rock, what's good? Ozzy Henry, what's good? Yeah, man. It's way too early to be panicking, man. If I'm nervous about anybody though, if I if I have to ring the alarm, so to speak, shout out to the old Hugh Snickens reference. If I have to ring the alarm, so to speak, Kemba Walker's defense is very concerning to me. While Fournier's shots are going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and he looks like he's taking the correct shot. Kemba Walker's defense. I don't know how to speak to that at this point.
Ole?
Ole.
Here's the thing, though, with Kemba and Fournier. They were never stout defenders to begin with.
Right.
You know, we somehow have, and I don't want to say we disillusioned ourselves and or conditioned ourselves to believe that these guys were good defenders at some point in time, but they weren't that in their other prospective teams. Hey, Jay Boogie, good morning, sir. Shout out.
Jay Boogie's in the building.
Good
good?
morning, Mr. Freezie. Good morning, Mr. AD. I know y'all normally do this thing one-on-one, but I had to pop along this morning.
Baby, pop along.
That jewel, I'm talking to the chat. That jewel that Mr. AD just dropped about be careful with who you meet on the way up, because them same people you meet on the way up, on the way down, they might leave you. Pay attention. Rewind the footage. Go back. Listen to it. Let it stick to your helmet, man. That was a major jewel that got me up like, yo, whoa. That was like real. I had to just come on and just salute you with that right there, my brother, because, man, that is way, that needs to be heard in life, man. Treat everybody equal, man, the same. You never know you need. Never know. So I just want to come on, just strip for that right there, man. Good morning to everybody. Chat worldwide. Get them like buttons up. Salute. 3 capital S's, man. I'm muted for the rest of the show.
It's facts, but let's stay right. Let's stay right there for a second. When I've made references to Herb Williams, the first time I made a Herb Williams reference in basketball that wasn't being his play was one of my best friends in life was the biggest Allen Iverson fan. And not only him, a couple of, our friends that I have are the biggest Allen Iverson fans, and, icon and this and that and whatever. And I've worked with young people a long time, you know what I mean? In different spaces. And seeing him recently come on TV and talk about, not being able to get a job with Philadelphia 76ers and in basketball overall and stuff like that. He's the one, when I make that reference about, be careful of people on the way up because the same people are going to meet on the way down. He's the one I have in mind I'm talking about.
So it wasn't Charles Oakley. It was Allen Iverson.
No, it wasn't Oakley, because the league will remember. The league remembers. Mm-hmm. The league remembers the bad behavior. The league remembers, the lack of etiquette, the lack of professionalism. Bump what you did on the court. You can never take that away from on the court. Small man, worked hard, all of that.
Tough.
From the moment he came into our consciousness, it was always a problem off the court that somehow came onto the court that would shadow or like loom over his play. Whether it was the dressing, the hair, the this, the that, how he treated his woman, other women. You're not going to be young forever. Try and tell this to young people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Your prime years are your prime years. And these people who own franchises, they're going to own them a lot longer than you're going to play. Relationships in life, especially in the thing that you love to do, is important. Whether you see yourself as a capitalist or socialist or whatever it is, However you're going to feed your family and feed yourself in life is important how you deal with people. And he's the one person that I always think about when I make those references. I'm like, and because you steer young people the wrong way, the bad manners, the lack of public decorum, you know what I mean? Just how you talk to your parents. You understand? See, a person with $1 million can get in and out of trouble.
Right.
A person without $1 million, when you get into trouble,
you stay in it.
Boy, you better be on your hands and knees, and you better know Jesus real good.
Real good.
You see what I'm saying? And it's people like that. And I don't know this man personally, but the image that you projected with all of this, you can't walk into a person's office looking for a job with tattoos across your neck and your face, on your hands. Gonna help some of you young folks out. Keep it a buck. The world needs another rapper like we need 6 toes.
Right.
Keep it a buck. Okay? The world needs things that you can't use. No, we just don't. You know what I'm saying? You look up to these people, you call these folks icons. No, firefighters are icons. The people who are leading the youth of tomorrow, they're icons. Your mother, your father, who taught enough of you to get you to a certain point in life, they're icons.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So let me get off that soapbox here for a minute, because those things, because as I'm thinking about them, I'm replaying some of the conversations I've had with my friend, and when he talked about it, I'm like, dude, icon? Great ball player?
Yeah.
Would you want to play with him? Would you want to play with dribble again?
Are you asking me personally? No. So my thing is, I understand your point. I understand your point, but in life, everybody's not going to be. And so I'm gonna take the opposite side of what Anthony D said, right? Because I agree with what he says for the most part, but there's a part to it too that there's a divider. Like in life, everybody is not gonna be a ham and egger, a Jabba, because they don't have because they're esoteric. The way they think about stuff is that they're the dreamers, is what I call them. They think differently from the ham and egger 9-to-5 guy. See, I'm a grinder, right? I'm a grinder, and if I lived by y'all be like, man, that dude's always doing something. He always, you know what I'm saying? He always doing something, right? You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, I went over there and he out there messing with the lawnmower, man. You ain't even using that old lawnmower. That's me, right? But then there are some that dream past the stars, right? Their mindset is not, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? They're not like I'm gonna be a police officer or not even a police officer, a school teacher and be a school teacher for 40 years. Their thing is, I want to be Michael Jackson. I want to set the trend. And they don't understand the trappings of all of it. All they see is the product. They don't understand the work that goes behind it. They don't understand how people view you, how you have a lack of privacy, how you have, you know what I'm saying? And they don't understand any of that stuff, right? Allen Iverson is that guy, because from the time that he picked up a ball of any type, he was the best player in his age group. And people knew this. They're like, hey, that kid way faster than everybody else that's 9 years old. He, you know what I'm saying? He way better than everybody at 12. He way better than everybody at 15. And then when you get to about 15, 16, 17, and everybody put that stuff in your mind, in your head, that you don't have to do the basic stuff because you have these skills at 15, 16, 17. When you turn 18, 19, you're going to be in the pros. So you don't do the basic stuff. You don't have to, yes, ma'am. No, sir. Take the trash out on time. You don't have, because this kid was so elite at what he did, he didn't have to learn those ground rules. And then plus, when you don't have that thing there to keep you inside. So I say this a lot to people. So I'm a Freemason, right? What happens is even with me, even though I've done a lot of things in that craft, it's still people over me that keep me within these rails. Like they keep me in bounds. Because without bounds, you can get the big head easy. Like for instance, I could stand in a room. There was a time where I could stand in a room with 800 people, and they would hang on every word that I said because it was real. You can hear a pin drop in that room. You know, me standing up there with all my stuff on, looking official, saying these words to people, and you could hear it would be so quiet that you could hear a rat piss on cotton. And when I left, when I exit the stage and come off, you could see old men from all walks of life coming up to me like, "Oh man, Uncle Freezie, I never knew that." And that stuff, if without people keeping you grounded and in the rails, that stuff can go to your head, right? The same thing with Iverson, to AD's point. There was nobody there to keep him grounded and in the rails, like inside in his lane. Because what Allen Iverson don't know, and to AD's point, what Allen Iverson didn't understand is, no matter how much money you make, no matter what kind of car you drive, no matter what your resume says, you could be doctor of this, all these letters after your name, all this stuff. You're a man first, right? You're a man first, and on the way up, you're going to be dealing with other men and women, right? And you have to treat them like that, right? And not swerve in and out of everybody's lane because you have the fastest car. And that's what Allen Iverson did. Allen Iverson swerved in and out of all these different lanes without respect to the people in those lanes, right? The people in those lanes, they have dreams and aspirations and work ethic also. You know what I'm saying? And just because they don't, accelerate at the same speed doesn't mean that they're not accelerating at all, to AD's point. So AI go up faster, but like just like a skyrocket, the faster you will go up, the faster you come down. And those people that you pass on the way up, you'll see them on the way back down, except in a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? So to AD's point, I dig what you're saying, right? But some of these people just AD are just built different. And the reason why is because they were gifted, they were able to use their gifts early. And so they basically use them up, so to speak. Right. But to those that have structure, right? Like for instance, I'll get called every now and again about some stuff. They were like, "Hey, Uncle Freezie, we shouldn't talk about such and such. We should frame it this way. You know, traditionally we'll say things this way, or do stuff that way, or such and such." And so I am like, well, who am I? Who am I to buck tradition and in the way things that we've always done them? If it's a fact that we're helping others, let's do it. Let's continue to do it that way. Like saying, yes, ma'am, no, sir. Be respectful to the ladies. Be respectful to the elderly. All these are, be respectful of your guys. Because it's okay for men to joke around with each other, but it's not okay for men to be disrespectful, you know what I'm saying, to each other just because you're in a position where you can be disrespectful, right? And I felt like Allen Iverson may have done that in certain cases, right? Like in certain cases, Like for instance, the rule for getting dressed up to go to work. While I don't necessarily agree, I didn't agree with it at that time. Like, why do I have to dress a certain way to show up to work? A dress code? If that was the rule, obey by the rule. If you want to change the rule, or if you don't like the rule, try to change it or amend it some type of way. But don't just take the fine for the rule just to be rebellious. Because in the case, to me, it makes me think that AI was just mentally sloppy in that case. And he wasn't the only one. There's others.
He wasn't the only one, and I'm not getting at him per se personally, but it's the imagery.
It sounds like it though.
It's no. It's not him. It's the imagery, and he's the face of that image. He's the face of that willful rebelliousness. That as young people, you only want an avenue to take the whole lane against your parents. You only want to hear a song or something that someone else done that's maybe in your head, and all of a sudden, wow, that person gets me. That person understands me. And off to the races, there you go.
Me and Eddie Chiba. First time I heard Eddie Chiba, right? And for those that don't know who Eddie Chiba is, an icon in hip hop. He wasn't the best, but he was one of the first. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what I'm talking about, and it's that kind of symbolism that it does more harm than it does good. You see, and sometimes that we don't see it because we live in the moment. Dude, I was down in Miami when he got the Rolls and whatever, and the peoples I'm with, we got the Benzes like right over there, and we're having the greatest of times. And yeah, but for me, that was a weekend, 4 or 5 days. Right. I came back to the real world, back to work, back to the grind. And like I said, I'm not getting at him per se personally, but it's the imagery that kind of person that you can literally cut him out and put him in that image, and you're great. You can run with it. You can go on YouTube right now and see a million of these fools throwing up all kind of foolish gang signs and all kind of things that are nothing positive, nothing to give to the youth, but willful ignorance. You see what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. I'm gonna get off this box, and let's get back on some old school Knicks. Let's get back on some where we was at it. So, pardon me, folks, if I went on a tangent.
Well, it's because you old school, and this is
because I'm old school.
And so the thing is, and so just the thing about rappers, real quick, bro. I don't have a beef with rap. I love rappers, right? I love rap, and so my thing is with and I know we're gonna talk Knicks, right? But the thing with rappers is some of those guys inspired me in a way because they legit took nothing and made something out of it, right? They made something out of nothing. Like one of my favorite personalities, period, is Sean Combs, Diddy, Puffy, right? A dude that made nothing, made something out of nothing. Now, did he do right by everybody as he got on and on and on? You know what I'm saying? I can't.
That's up for debate.
Yeah. But did he take a rough upbringing and turn it into something? Yes. Right? Yes. He did, and that takes work ethic. It takes work.
It takes work ethic. Right? Yes.
Are you willing to grind for success?
Yes.
Or are you willing to, Jay Boogie? Are you willing to put in hours and hours and hours in your craft to be the best version of yourself?
Always.
That's what I'm. The thing is putting in hours and hours and hours of work, getting better. I don't knock a man for that. I applaud that. If even if something that I don't necessarily I wouldn't do myself, I can admire the grind. I'm a grinder by nature. I believe in the beehive, right? I believe in everybody, and this is the thing, and I say this a lot, and I know people like you try to link everything back to the Illuminati. Nah, I believe in the beehive. I believe in the beehive, bro. I believe in a hive there is one bee and she has a job, and her job is to make make one queen bee to take her place, and pump out worker bees. And the job of the worker bee is to take care of the hive at all costs. That's their life's job. Take care of the hive. And every now and then, a bumblebee will be born that all he wants to do is eat up all the resources and fumble around and bring attention to the hive. Well, the hive don't want attention. Y'all seen a bumblebee before? Big, oversized bee with regular sized wings, fumbling about, mess around, and you know what I'm saying, and start rallying the tree. Because listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. You ain't never been stung by a worker bee, unless you did something to the hive. You ain't never been stung by a worker bee. Never. It's not in their nature. A worker bee is blind to everything outside of the concept of gathering resources to make sure that the hive is straight and the queen is straight. Because the queen, you take care of the queen bee because she is the future. She's pumping out other people to help you maintain that hive, and eventually she's gonna crank out another queen bee and then die off and let that young queen bee take her spot. That's it. And think about this: you ain't never been stung by a queen bee. Never. A queen bee don't even leave the hive unless the hive is attacked. Her life is inside the hive. The only time she leaves the hive, and this is nature, bro. The only time she leaves the hive is that hive is attacked, and she got to leave for her own safety, right? But then you see a bumblebee, don't want to work, you know what I'm saying? Don't want to contribute, just eat up all the resources, fumbling about. You ever seen a bumblebee fly, bro? You ever seen a bumblebee fly? It's like helicopter wings on a jumbo jet. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant to be. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant to be. That's why it's awkward. You know what I'm saying? A bumblebee and then you know what happened? You know what happens? The reason why you see the bumblebee is because the worker bees kick him out the hive. If you watch a nature thing on beehives, if one bee eats up all the resources and ain't working, they kick him out the hive, bro. When you see a bumblebee don't have a hive. He not part of nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That one thing that disrupt everything, they kick him out. So anyway, the point that I'm getting at is this. I understand where AD was going with the Allen Iverson reference, right? About how bucking the rules and all that stuff. And someday you're gonna have to meet your maker. One day justice is gonna be served. And when justice is served, are you gonna complain about the way the system did you, or are you gonna remember what you did? You know what I'm saying, on your way, on that way there. So when it's come time for justice to be served, are you gonna remember what you did in order to get the consequences of your action? Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
That's it. So I don't have patience for folks like that. You know, as much love and stuff I have in my heart generally for people, folks that was riding high and they no longer ride high anymore. I don't got it for you. I just really don't. Because it's like I said before, it's what you give off. You give off that's not reality. That's your reality. Everyone's not gonna be you know, and Allen Iverson. Everyone's not going to be an athlete. Everyone's not going to be able to do the type of things you can do physically. You understand? And with your physical gifts, you know, moral gifts don't come along with it. You see how you act on the regular, how you know, how you come, how you, and it's, you don't even have to project yourself. It's the media and these people who are using your imagery in a negative way. You know, and it takes what, 10 seconds to go viral.
Right.
If not less.
Forever. And it's forever. Once you go viral, it's forever.
Ever. It's forever. It's one of the reasons why, as time goes on, I respect LeBron more and more. Respect him more and more. The moves are so calculated. You know, it's no, I'm not gonna be in that light. No, I'm not doing that. Right. I'm not rolling with my boys in the whatever and and 3 y'all are smoking and I'm gonna get caught in this vehicle because somebody's waiting for me to do that.
Right.
I'm just not gonna do that. You know, I'm not gonna be in the club making it rain, spending God knows however money, whatever. My environment, everything is gonna be controlled to where I can be comfortable enough, but I'm not gonna be someone's not gonna put me on in the face of a negative light. That's the imagery is gonna, there he goes again. Another one of these athletes, another one of these black athletes, there he go again.
Right.
Acting a fool. You know,
they can't wait to say that.
Yeah, 3 years out the league, broke.
Right. You know who that happened to? Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember this, but in '93, the Knicks had a 2-0 lead on the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs. You remember that? You remember '93? The Knicks had a 2-0 lead on the Bulls, right?
Absolutely.
And after game two, in game two, Michael Jordan had a terrible game. And the buildup by Peter Vesey is, watch this young kid, John Starks, that's 6'2" and a half. They say he's 6'5", and that's the running joke in New York City. John Starks is 6'2" and a half. They say he's 6'5". That's the running joke, right? Right? And they say, watch his defense on Michael Jordan and other stars in the league. And so Peter Vesey all the time is writing these weird stories about Starks, about how he's a bonehead, his emotions, his emotional intelligence, and we didn't even understand what the phrase emotional intelligence was back then in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? But we would say his emotional intelligence wasn't there. He had a rough background, all these things. But on all the offensive stars in the league, on the Reggie Millers, on the Mitch Richmonds, on the Clyde Drexlers, on the Michael Jordans, all the superstars of the day, all the stars of the day, John Starks played good defense on them, right? And so they go to Jordan like, Mike, rumor has it that you were in an Atlantic City casino till 6 a.m. Did that affect your performance in game two? Right? And the thing about it is Mike was like, what? And so the newspapers ran with it. I don't know if y'all remember this storyline or not, but Michael Jordan in Atlantic City was the storyline, and the Knicks were up 2-0, and Phil Jackson was in the press talking about it wasn't Mike. It's the Knicks. The Knicks they're too physical with us. They take away. We don't have freedom to move. Hold on. Hey, I'll be right back, y'all. Let me do something real quick. I think my levels and stuff.
I'm gonna stay with your point. It wasn't just he had a bad game two. He had a bad game 1, 2, and 3. Because if you remember, we go back to Chicago up 2-0. I think he only had 16 points in that game 3, and we're unable to capitalize. We should have been up 3-0. Then in game 4, I think he dropped 54. He went on some ridiculous 54, 55, and game 5, he does another. Then we know what happens in game 5, the Charles Smith game, and game 6, another crazy game that he drops in again. But John Starks, for as much negativity as he's gotten for that game 7, 2 for 18, and we've talked about this before, Jay Boogie, on the show. We don't get to game 7 without John Starks. You see, we just don't. And look at John Starks. I remember watching his profile on MSG, and he was a wayward kid himself. And he said, hey, he got kicked out of a couple of colleges, and he's like, look, if I don't catch myself, I'm going to lose my dream. I'm not going to be, if I don't stop hanging out with these dudes and, let me catch myself. So you know what? Let me not try and do the fast money thing. Let me go to Safeway. Let me work at the supermarket, and then let me work on my craft at night, because the big picture for me is I want to be in the NBA. So I'm going to take this little bit of money here during the day, and at night I'm going to work on my craft. I'm going to go to junior college. I'm going to somehow get to Oklahoma. I'm going to somehow get to the league. Golden State I think Golden State might have cut him like 10 times. But he kept putting in the work and being in people's faces to finally he gets to the Knicks. He gets to the Knicks their camp, and he was about to get cut. But that's a story for anybody. Look at that. He's bagging groceries 2 years ago. 2 years later, he's 6 man off the bench. The following year, he's starting shooting guard, helping this team to game 7 of an NBA Finals.
And that says a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's on the opposite side of not giving up. If you continue on putting your hard work, drive every day into something that you want, you're going to pursue it sooner or later. The point is, when it takes a day longer than what you think it is, if you're gonna make it on Wednesday, don't quit on Tuesday. If you're gonna make it in November, don't quit in September. You never know what's on the opposite side, as long as you continue on pursuing your dream. Use your effort and continue on striving for what your thoughts is bringing towards your life. You know what I'm saying? A thought and a plan can only be a thought of a plan if you don't put the actions into your life. Put your actions into it and go pursue. And that's what AD is talking about. You're talking about a man that was bagging groceries, taking bags out to the parking lot, getting change. Yeah, I know how it used to go back in them days. You didn't get paid for that in Pathmark or Key Food. You didn't get paid for that. You went there on the weekends just to make that little extra change. Yes. And John came a long way just doing that, bagging groceries. He bagged all the way into the league, man. Salute that man.
So all the way up, as wow, Freezie touched on that. I thought after that game 2, I had on my Ewing jersey. I went to school. I was going to Kingsborough College at the time. Went to school. Got my Ewing jersey on, and a couple of my boys were Bulls fans. And I'm like, dude, it's a wrap, my G. This is over. Like your boy Mike. We're going to take this next one right here. Y'all probably going to win game 4. We're going to come back to the Garden, and we're going to put y'all away. And that's it. And every game they won from game 3 to game 4, it was like a little of my life I was losing, a little at a time. Because it was so, going into game 5, and I hate admitting this, but I have to. I'm coming home from school. I purposely come home late I don't want to see the start of the game. I'm listening to the game on the radio, coming in, listening to the game, Walkman. We're really dating ourselves. Have my Walkman on, listening to the game, coming up, J Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm purposely getting home late because but I'm there in the game. I get home like about halftime. My brother was like, "Where you at? Where were you?" I'm like, dude, I know. Halftime is like, I don't know, a couple of points separating us. I can't remember if we were winning or losing or whatever. But the one thing I remember is we kept missing free throws.
Mm.
And it was one of those things from those old 90s teams. Those were that was one of the underlying things that plagued us big time. We weren't a good free throw shooting team.
Right.
And when you any NBA team, when you look at the ones who win the championships and look at their free throw percentage,
mm-hmm.
they hit the gimmies. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
As great a player as Kevin Durant is, I think for it's always 87, 88, and 89, 90. Some in the playoffs, look at his free throws. And then as the game is going on, we're missing free throws. I think we shot 67% for that game in free throws in a big pivotal game. That's horrible.
It's terrible. You're right.
We only lose the game, I think, by 3 points, 4 points, whatever we lose the game by. Mm-hmm. But we missed 15 free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Hit half of those free throws, you're winning. Mm-hmm. You're now winning by 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's your craft. That matters in the second quarter. That matters at the beginning of the third. That matters because you're talking about a final score. Those are points that can be added on to a final score that leads to a victory, man.
It leads to a victory. As I said, I get home, halftime. I go in my favorite position because me and my brother, we never watched the game in the same room together. He was always in his room and I was in my room. And then we would meet. Anything goes right, we'd meet somewhere simultaneously and chest bump. We just knew what time was time to meet. But I could hear him. He's going through it. He can hear me. I'm going through it. And I'm trying to be silent. And the game comes down to like that last pivotal moment where Ewing gets the ball on the wing. He drives. He hands it off to Charles Smith. And we know what happened. I'm not going to go, gosh, whatever. Let's go through it. He hands the ball. He hands it off to Charles. And, all I can hear Marv Albert Gore, stop once, stop twice, stop. And I'm in a state of shock. Because all I wanted to do is rewind and go back in time and stay where I was. If there was ever a game I could have just stayed and listened to it on the radio, it was that game. I could have stayed and just listened on the radio and been fine with that because I knew we were losing game 6. And I knew we were not coming out of Chicago.
And all Mike did was running out our tunnel talking about, we ain't coming back. Man. Yeah.
You gotta, as we said before, the gimmies, the free throws, that was a major, besides our outside shooting and our offense not being consistent, it's the free throws. It's the free throws that get us. The following year, when Ewing misses 2, the Hubert Davis play.
Right.
Let's go there. Hubert Davis is only in that situation because Ewing missed 2 free throws like a minute before.
Mm.
So when you see Scottie Pippen, which in today's game, that's a foul times 3. When Hubert takes the deep 2 or the 3, and Scottie breaks his fall away. I mean, he breaks his arm, he hits his hands and all of that, which is a foul. It's a total foul because it's his follow through. It's not on the shot that he fouls him. He fouls him on his follow through.
Mm-hmm.
And Hubert saves Ewing and saves the Knicks. He goes and he hits 2 free throws that won that game.
Yes.
We'd never been there if Ewing didn't miss 2 free throws a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. And he's a good free throw. But that pressure just does something, man. That pressure point, man. That's why
does it to you.
You got to be a special type guy, man, when you get to the pressure points of life.
As much as we love Starks in 95, when Reggie hits the 8 points in 8 seconds, this is a part of the game that we forget. After he does that, this is game 1. I still remember because I went to the bathroom thinking the game is over. We're up 6, up 7, whatever. I went to my bathroom was right next to my room. I go to the bathroom, think the game was over. I'm standing over the urinal, and all of a sudden I hear Reggie again and again. I'm like, what? I quickly, I quickly coil a snake, I run back in and I take my remote control. I throw it up against the wall. And I splattered it into like 10 different pieces. Right? Right after that, they fouled John Starks.
Yes.
Starks goes to the free throw line, and Mark Jackson tells this story because he's on that Indiana team, and he said, I looked into John Starks' eyes.
Yes.
I played with John Starks. John did not want it. Boogie, I remember it like yesterday. He goes to the free throw line, and I knew he was going to miss these 2 free throws. Because he did not. You could see it in the body language. Those Reggie's 2 threes, it shook the whole city. It's like the game is over. How that this man was able to tie the game? Mind you, he didn't put them in the lead. He just tied the game. Starks now has a chance to win the game.
Right.
He goes there and he clangs 2 free throws. Again, free throws is our problem. Misses 2 free throws. You can't win a championship when the smallest details in the game, which seems like it's the smallest detail in the game, you can't get it done.
That's right.
They're called free throws for a reason. They're free.
That's right. You're 100% right, man. Free throws, the hustle plays, anything, that's really not known for stats are the major points that bring forth championships. Yep.
You're not gonna win with all of without those kind of plays. And we love John. You know what I'm saying? You heard us talk about him, with great reverence.
Yes.
But him, Ewing, Oakley, these guys were not good free throw shooters when it came down to it. On the line, in some of their most pivotal moments, you could almost close your eyes and think, well, it's going to be 1 out of 2. Derek Harper. They were not good.
And 1 out of 2. And 1 out of 2. That we was praying for that. Please get one of it at least. Oh man.
So to win a championship, it's not just the rebounding, it's not just the block shot, it's everything. It's really everything. It's the things that we take for granted. Those things that we take for granted that, you gotta. We talked about this earlier, a couple of weeks ago, as far as some of the big closeout games.
Right.
The more I think about Greek Freak's closeout game, it's probably 1, 2, or 3 best closeout games I've ever seen.
Talk about it.
Because he's the star player on his team, and he gave them everything. He hit his free throw. Mind you, remember, They're counting down how many seconds he's taking,
making him rush his rhythm to even shoot him.
rushing his rhythm. But for that game, everything they needed, including the free throws, he nailed it. He nailed everything. Everything you wanted. You want him to guard the guard, he guard the guard. You want him to take a three, said, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna play in my game. I'm gonna play my game, which should be from free throw line down. I'm gonna post up. I'm gonna get blocks. I'm gonna do everything, and I'm gonna send you home. You see, once the star player gets that in his head, in the pivotal moment, you can't do nothing with him.
You know, that kind of like reminded me of the LeBron thing with him when LeBron had them. He had Mike Miller, Shane Battier, and the guy that's the GM right now, Phoenix, that was playing with him in Cleveland and all over the place.
Yeah, James Jones.
When they put them three guys out there with LeBron, and you could not help out. LeBron had to see wide open. And that kind of like, put me a little bit into perspective with the Greek having them shooters. And I'm getting ready to do whatever it is I want to do because you can't help, you can't stop. Man, you're right, man. That's one of the greatest performers, especially at that pivotal point in time of a championship series, done at the highest level of the game, point blank. No room for errors, no chokes, no mistakes, no nothing. Knocking down the free throws, that was even, that was even better than his all-around game.
Yeah. He may never play another game like that again.
So who y'all talking about? I missed it.
We were talking about the where we slid from free throws into why it's important and bridged into Greek Freak's big game, and look at him when he needed to make his free throws, and how many seconds that they were counting off and messing up his rhythm and so forth, and he still had his greatest game, and hit his free throws.
Yeah, the reflection of the old school games from when we played Chicago and we lost in that series when Charles Oakley missed them layups. But bigger than that, we missed a lot of free throws in those games that we could have knocked them off in game 3. And the same thing in the Indiana Pacers thing with the free throws, that AD was relating to before on how John Starks missed his free throws. And we just, leveled it up.
Right. Hey, so let me say this real quick. So Chris is backstage. He wanted to say hi to Jay Boogie. Hey, Chris, I'm gonna bring you on. Hey, but we doing a specific topic though, bro. Like old school. Hey, Chris wanted to come on and say hi to Jay Boogie, man. Just real quick. Hey, so but we got a specific topic here. AD got a specific thing, man. A specific thing. So we just try to keep the chat locked for the most part though. But since it's Chris from Oklahoma, man. You know what I'm saying? So Chris just wanted to get on and holler at Jay Boogie real quick.
Chris.
Hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
He muted.
You muted.
There it is. All right, I'm gonna take Chris down until he get ready.
He went back to mute.
Yeah,
but I'm ready for the segment. The new segment that we drop in here, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're gonna do the good first this week, Freezie.
All right. So you ready to do the good, huh? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'm glad Jay Boogie is here. The good. Here's a name that we haven't touched on in a minute, and it's KP. And the reason why I started off with this as being the good was drafting him was good. We were lucky. We were lucky to get him at 4. Those first couple of years that we had him we thought that finally we have homegrown talent since Ewing that's going to take us the next 10 to 15 years. So drafting him was good because remember, we could have had Russell, right? If we had finished higher, we could have had what's the gentleman from Duke, the center? I don't even think he's in the league.
You give me a headache. As soon as you mentioned this draft, my head
because
just started.
That was for us in our drafting for the last 30 some odd years. Drafting KP was probably the second best thing we did next to Ewing. Easily. 7'3", could block shots, could shoot threes. I remember watching him in the middle of the night. You know, someone who I trust in basketball said to me, what you think about him? I started watching his videos and so forth, and I was like, whoa. And I went back to him and I said, Phil don't have the cojones to draft this kid. And he said, why you say that? I said, because this dude is a player.
Yeah. He like Trey Lyles.
He's flat out player. So I didn't think we would get him at 4. But when you hear the names roll off, and like, oh, he's right there for us. And when we got him, and the young Knickerbocker fan that he didn't know better. He's there crying his eyes out when they mention KP. And all of a sudden, he gets in our uniform, and that first year and that second year, and even parts of that third year, he looked like he was on the trajectory of being something great in our uniform. So I do believe that qualifies as a good thing in Knicks history that we drafted him.
Okay.
Now, you want us to go to the bad?
You want to do the bad?
We can do the bad.
You want to do the bad?
We can do the bad.
Okay.
Let's do the bad because I'm here to shake Knicks fans up here this morning. The bad. Bringing back, better yet, hiring and then bringing him back 2 other times, Mr. Mills. Your thoughts, Freezie, before I open up in my bag and talk about Mills, your thoughts.
Never liked them. Never liked them. My preference would bring in a real basketball man, right? Steve Mills was not a bad basketball man, and Steve Mills is really, really smart, right? But in terms of experience being a basketball man, I didn't think that was the time to bring in Steve Mills. Steve Mills is brilliant, bro. Steve Mills, in terms of an organization, Steve Mills is almost genius level, but that's business, right? It's not basketball. When you take a brilliant business mind and think it easily equates to basketball because you played basketball and you were successful at business, doesn't mean that you're a basketball man. Steve Mills played basketball in college. He comes from a basketball family. Steve Mills is brilliant, bro. He wrote books, all this stuff. But he's not a basketball man, bro. You know what I'm saying? He played basketball in college, was a good athlete. You know what I'm saying? But nah, he wasn't a basketball man. And my thing is this, right? With Steve Mills. If you were eventually going to coalesce to giving guys power, why not give Pat Riley power, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like if the thing is, it ultimately, and And because the thing is Pat Riley left in 90 at the beginning of 95, right? Or was it 94? 95, end of 95.
95.
Pat Riley left at the end of 95, right?
Yep.
And Steve Mills became a major player in 2001.
2001.
Yeah, I know there's a gap there, but bro, you got to bring in a basketball man. Why not bring in Jerry West? Why not? Because if you're gonna coalesce to start giving power to these guys, and I'm talking about ultimate power, right? How you gonna give it to Steve Mills?
Company man. A company man. And here's the thing with Mills. I remember when they brought him on the first time. When they brought him in the first time, he was president of Madison Square Garden operations, not even the Knickerbockers. So he was on the business side. Steve Mills has what? MBA from Yale and all of that, like you mentioned, books, all of that. Came out of the league office, all of that. He then suggests or makes the recommendation for the Knicks to hire Isaiah as the head of basketball operations.
Right.
So his very first move is Isaiah. He wanted to bring in, he recommended Magic Johnson first. Right? For Knicks fans who remember that. Magic didn't want the job. Magic didn't want to come all the way on the East Coast or whatever. The Magic wanted to be Magic. Magic then recommends Isaiah. The Knicks are starstruck. They've always been starstruck, especially Dolan in those early years of taking over the reins from his father. Starstruck. Why not? He's Isaiah. He's won championships. He knows basketball. He's a basketball mind. Let's put him in there. And let's not have a proper organization, in place for checks and balances, and let's just let him do whatever. Right? They let Mills go. Mills leaves. They eventually fire Isaiah, right?
Right.
They brought on Walsh and so forth. They let Walsh go. They somehow had Isaiah's Indiana teammate from back in the days when he was at Indiana in college, Glenwall. Glenwall is the guy that was the architect to that 54-win season. Okay? That Melo's best offensive year or his best total year, the Knicks' best winning percentage or winning total since the early 90s. They had Glenwall. Glenwall was doing a good job. They lose to Indiana game 6. We know what happened there. They fire Glenwall on the eve of the new season and bring Mills back. Why?
I'm not sure. Hey, let me do something real quick. So Chris want to say hi to Jay Boogie. Jay Boogie, one of your fans want to say hi to you, man. Hey, what's up, Chris? Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can. Hey, Jay Boogie.
What's happening, Mr. Chris? How you doing, my
I
brother?
just wanted to tell you that I've been praying for you, man. I'm sorry for your loss.
Man, appreciate that, man. Blessings to you, man. Appreciate that, man. It means a whole lot, Chris.
Yeah, Jay Book. Hey, Chris, man. So what it is usually on Knicks, on old school Knicks, we have it locked. Usually it's only me and AD, and that's
Sorry about that.
No. I gotta explain it. So not only for you but for others, it's usually like me and AD rock and do old school Knicks because sometimes the conversation gets away from the topic, and so we just keep it locked just for this segment. But all the other shows, or most of the other shows, are open, except Knicks Freestyle and the Pod Couple, but all the other joints are usually open, where if you want to jump in on the panel and all that stuff, You can rock as long as you want, but for 3 of the joints though, we keep it locked because we try to keep it a certain theme. And,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But the fact that you just want to say what's up to Jay Boogie was dope though.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jay Boogie.
I appreciate what I'm gonna do. Hey Chris, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you right now. All right. So that way we don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't step on the brakes on what Freezie and AD got going on. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna jump off and I'm gonna call you right now. Okay.
I'll be
right.
outside.
Okay. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you. Give me about 1 minute. I'm gonna call.
All right.
All right, Chris.
Freezie and AD, man, my brothers, man, y'all continue on doing what y'all
Good
doing.
seeing you, Freezie.
I wanted to just come on.
AD.
I wanted to just come on and listen, man. Just be here and listen. That's why I say I'm muted for the rest of the show.
Come back, man. Come back. Definitely come back. You gotta.
No doubt. Steve Mills, I never liked Steve Mills.
Hey, no doubt. No doubt.
I never liked Steve Mills. I don't trust him. Steve Mills remind me of the movie In Too Deep. I was drunk. Yeah. I'm sorry. He reminds me of the type of guy that want to holler at your chick when you ain't around, man. I just don't like him, man. So you know what happened to that guy. But God bless y'all, man. I'm going to talk to y'all. We get off and call Chris real quick.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay Boogie.
Hey, peace, chat. See y'all soon.
Peace, Freezie. Peace,
Anthony. All right, bro. Yeah, man. Hey, so Chris was backstage hitting me up in the private chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Jay Boogie got fans everywhere, bro.
This is Boogie got fans, man. Boogie, I hear Jay Boogie sometimes on other podcasts. They got him as the closer. Once I hear the closers coming on, like, whoa, I can't get off just yet. I gotta listen to Jay Boogie.
Yeah.
Jay Boogie he about to drop the knowledge and so forth and the gems. So salute to Jay Boogie. And again, salute to all our Knick Nation out there and everyone that's in the chat and so forth. But yes, back to Mills. They bring him back. Here's the thing about his second tenure.
Oh boy.
Phil Jackson didn't want him around, right? No. But Dolan says, nah, that's my man's in him. He loyal.
And he a hard worker.
He a hard worker.
He's a hard worker, but like Jay Boogie said, sometimes the fit is not a good fit. And Steve Mills is not that. So
he a hard worker. And you got to find a place. You're not going to want to do all the day-to-day stuff. And this is one of the things that followed Mills when Mills got here. He has, quote unquote, league contacts. He's on the inside. You know what I mean? You ever met that? You ever got a boy and they tell you, I know all the chicks. When we go to this party gonna be lit. I got inside man. Yeah, he the inside man. He know all the chicks, and you get there, it's a bag of dudes there. What happened to the chick? I thought you knew the chick. I thought you knew the chick that knew all the chicks.
Yeah, and it's like 70 dudes there, and two fine girls show up, and they see they outnumbered, and they leave.
And they leave. They leave within 30 seconds. They out.
Yeah, they like, man, it's sausage fest in here.
That used to drive me bananas with Mills. I'm like, yo, where's the contacts? You let your owner go on ESPN I think it was a Friday evening.
Yeah.
Dolan went on ESPN and told the world that he is expecting for the Knicks to be great in this
certainty. It's a certainty.
Because what?
And he said 3, and he mentioned 3, not even 2. Oh my God, man.
3.
Oh boy.
3, right?
I'm certain this was we can get us a big 3. A big 3. Oh.
Done deal. Right? But backtrack even before we get to Dolan's debacle on the radio, right?
God dog it, AD. Now you got me hot.
Okay, hold on, because we're gonna go there because we now transition. Bring it up. The ugly. Bring it up.
Okay,
Throw it up.
let's do the ugly. So now you want to talk about the ugly? Okay.
No, because we're rolling because Mills is so special. He goes from one segment to the next segment, right?
Oh God, dog.
Mills is here. They fired Phil Jackson. Mills is now the guy.
The guy.
Right? He's now the guy. You're having all of these problems with KP. The alleged sexual assault that we didn't know about until right before they traded him. You know, the problems with his brother, the problem that he leaves the exit interview, which I never really had a problem with him and the whole exit interview thing, because let's keep it a buck. He's in your building, he's in your facility. At any moment in time you want to talk to him, it's a KP, I want to see you after the game.
Right.
You don't have to wait for an exit interview to have conversation. Right. You're with the team all the time, right?
Right.
Mills hires Perry. Neither him nor Perry reach out to KP.
Right.
They hire Fizdale. They send Fizdale and his pretty wife to go talk to KP months later. Right. That was some sucker-ish.
Yeah, and the thing about that is twofold. So for one, the first part is this. AD, you're a smart guy, right? And I can tell, and I can tell by the way that you speak that you understand how business works, right? So when I say this, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Hey, bro, sometimes if you can't do a meeting in New York City, you can do a meeting in another place. If you want that meeting to take place, if the meeting is that important, you don't have to do it in conference room B.
No.
Right? If the meeting was that important, bro,
yep,
they could have flew to see Porzingis and did the exit meeting where he was.
Yes.
Right? They could have done it. But it was a classic case of I'm such and such, and we do it this way around here. Right? This was a thing of they wanted to put this young fella in his place. Right? If he is going to be our way or the highway. And what they should have been thinking is this. What they should have been thinking about all the stuff that young fella was going through at the time. Right? He was dealing with I believe he was dealing with an injury at the time, right? The exit interview. Is that what was going on? So he was dealing with injuries and stuff because he didn't finish the season. He only played one game in April for the New York Knicks. If people don't know that. He only played one game past April in any of the 3 seasons he played, right? What they could have done is flew to him and talked to him where he was. Now, does it mean you have to acquiesce to your young budding superstar? Yes. Does it mean that he has the power over your organization? No. What that means is that if you two feel like you have a relationship that you want to build together, you could go see him on his turf. Like for instance, when me and Miss Mocha have an argument or whatever, and she leaves and she goes to such and such, and I want to talk to her, I go over to where Miss Mocha at and talk to her. Like if she leave the living room and go in the kitchen, I ain't gonna stay in the living room and be mad. Why you walk out the living room? You know what I'm saying? I go in the kitchen where she at and be like, hey, turn down that Mary J. Blige. Get off the phone with your sister. I'll just mess around with Mocha.
She did blasting 7 whole days. She did
blasting Not Gonna Cry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No, but if it's important for both parties to get this thing done, it'd have been okay. You know what I'm saying? To go see him on his turf. And you know what would have happened? That means Steve Mills and Scott Perry would have got on the plane and visited him in Latvia. They could have performed the exit interview then and mended some fences. Right? Why not? Why not?
You could have mended the fences, or you could have here's this. you could have lied to appease him.
Yeah.
You literally could have gone over there and be like, you know what? You want your brother to get a job here? No problem.
Yeah.
We want to do whatever it is that's gonna make you happy because we're trying to build a championship with you.
And
You're the centerpiece.
And it's not like all other organ. So here's the thing. That one thing to me was blown out of proportion because other organizations do it for stars as well.
All the time.
Yo, how many of LeBron James's boys worked for the Cleveland Cavaliers while he was there? Come on, man. It was 60, 70. Come on, bro. And
DeMar DeRozan got upset at the Raptors general manager because he said they lied to him. Right? They told him he was a part of the future, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, DeMar, dude, you don't call no shots.
Right.
You signed a nice deal. They made you comfortable. They knew what they were going to do all along. Right. He knew what he wanted to do.
Right.
He wasn't winning with you and Lowry. He needed a game changer. But just to get you nice and calm and cool and not have the fan base up in a tizzy, he made everything nice. The waters are cool. And just when you thought everything was okay and you bought your new house, you didn't even hear it from them. You heard it on the news.
Oh, yes. Breaking news. DeMar DeRozan has been traded.
Breaking news. Been traded.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And so I feel you. I feel you in that sense, man. But the thing I'm saying about the Porzingis, Steve Mills, Scott Perry thing is you could tell that Scott Perry was going along for the ride, but he was like, yo, I can't sit still for a lot of this stuff. Because what people don't know is mostly how it works in drafts and play acquisitions is this. The dude, the head honcho gets the big fish and the general manager gets all the little fish, right? That's just basically how it worked. Like the general manager, like the dude calling the shots in a draft will say, draft Kevin Knox, right? And then he'll hand over the reins for the second round picks and the undrafted free agents. Of course, he has input, but he'll trust the second man in charge for the other guys, right? And so what happens is a Steve Mills will draft Kevin Knox, and then a Scott Perry will draft Mitchell Robinson in the second round, and then the undrafted free agents, he'll see if he can find somebody like an Alonzo Trier or somebody like that. That's in theory, that's how it works most of the time. Because the head honcho is not going to cede his power to his underlings for the major decisions because his job is on the line. He got a hit on those. Like team presidents get judged by what type of free agents they bring in and what type of first round picks they draft. If they draft a bunch of busts, then it's no bueno, right? So the thing is in a chain of command, you know what I'm saying? The big fish makes all the big decisions, and then the lesser important decisions, go down that chain of command, so to speak, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right? Steve Mills didn't impress us with these moves, bro. Right? Steve Mills.
The first thing he did is second time around, he gave Baker a 2-year, $9 million contract.
Yep. And we love, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I love Ron Baker, but was he worth $4.5 million?
Oh my God. What? No. The thing is, was he worth 2 guaranteed deals?
Yeah.
You 2 guaranteed years. You take up the side. If it's 1-1, okay, it's fine. That means you can move on from that. It was already just money spent. So next year you can just take his option, opt out, whatever, and get rid of him. All right, you gave him 1. But the second year, you guarantee that. That means you got to work around that. If you want to trade it, you somehow have to figure it out because it's a salary slotted position.
Right.
What did he do in this little 1 year that he was with you that you thought that you uncovered this gem?
Right. Hey, you know what? I heard, I can't remember the name of the article, but I heard a thing where Steve Mills compared Ron Baker to Jeff Hornacek. And AG, I threw up in my mouth when I heard that. I'm sorry about the language, everybody. I'm sorry about the language. But what would make you think today's NBA needed another Jeff Hornacek?
Oh my God. What would make you think that he was Jeff Hornacek?
Hey, bro, I don't know. And Jeff Hornacek was a great player too, by the way.
He's a good ball player.
He was a great player for what he brought. And he was the model of consistency. When Jeff Hornacek was scoring 16 points a game, Jeff Hornacek was going to get you 16 points a game, no matter what the defense was. Now, if you wanted Jeff Hornacek to get you 47, that wasn't happening. But if you needed them 16, he was going to get you them 16. Whether it's 3-pointers or free throws or something, he was going to get it. Right?
Yeah. So, he was just his tenure here was just, it was so bad.
Hornacek got railroaded, bro. In my opinion, I think he got railroaded.
Well, if we're gonna slide to Hornacek, okay, let's slide to Hornacek. You bring in Hornacek, a guy who has no affiliation with the offense that you want to run. I like Hornacek. I liked him as a coach in Phoenix. I thought he had credibility. I thought he could coach.
Right.
You bring him in here after, you know, the whole Fisher debacle and him chasing after basketball wives and all kind of nonsense, right? You know, he left to go take. Why do people use their sick kid as a reason to go off and do what they want to do?
To do dirt, yeah.
Do dirt. Yo, tell me, you know, to all the fathers out there, the mothers and the fathers out there, you need a day off from work and so forth. Why do you have to rest on the fact that you have a sick child?
Right.
And the world knows, and it's not like regular people. The world knew about his sick child because when he was with Utah that year and he was, you know, in and out of playoff games and they were building a story around it. Oh, he just showing up for the game. He just left the hospital bed and da-da-da-da. And he told the Knicks that he had to go away because his child was sick. Come to find out, there he is in the back of American Airlines plane with like him, the basketball wife, and like 15 crew members taking a selfie before the plane leaves. Like, yo, you can't make this stuff up.
Yo, Derek. Oh
my
God.
Then to top it up to find out that his ex-teammate done drove like 300 miles to give him the business.
The business.
So you didn't even come out on top, no pun, in that situation.
Yeah.
From how what's the name tells it, the moment he's showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you had to leave your millions of dollar paying job to go be the head chef on the barbecue for the basketball wife.
Wrong.
You can't make this stuff up in our history, yo. You can't. Oh my God!
It's only the Knicks, bro. It's
It's
only the Knicks allow stuff like this to happen.
They paid him good money. Then Hornacek. Okay, fine. They move Hornacek. Him and Scott Perry interviewed like I want to say about 18 or 19 coaching candidates. You remember that?
Yeah.
They were looking Budholzer or the coach at Milwaukee, Van Gundy, Mark Jackson. They interviewed everybody. We thought they were doing their due diligence, right?
Right.
Oh, well, that's a good process, right? You're not just rushing to hire somebody. You know what I mean? You literally you thinking about this. You want to see what that person is going to bring in, what's their plan,
right.
Blah, 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 right? When I heard Fizdale's name, I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted Mark Jackson. I thought Mark Jackson was the coach for this team. somewhere inside of me, I still think that if something should go wrong or whatever, I would give him a shot. All right. But I thought at that moment in time, for what the team needed, they needed someone to be a real face of the organization, a real New Yorker type of person to come in and make things go. Like someone you could pay attention to, kind of a Rex Ryan kind of person, right? That's who's gonna say some things and do some things. And while management is putting the team together, you will have somebody that you can focus on and not so much attention to the team. You bring in Fizdale. I wasn't opposed to it at the time. I can't even lie and say I was opposed to it. I thought he had the good energy. I thought he had the right kind of energy, the right kind of temperament to bring in. My first comment was after they brought him in, I said, dude, for your first game, don't try and coach this season like it's game 7 of the finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a season where, you know, things are going to go wrong. You're hoping to get KP back, and you're hoping to go from there. The moment I saw his weave, his motion weave at the top of the key, and that's all he ran for the whole entire year. But the moment I saw that, I knew we were in trouble with this dude. Because I kept saying, this is the most basic thing I've ever seen in my life. What is this exactly?
Nothing.
Like, you come from a school of Miami coaches, the pedigree. Is that what you learned in film school down there? Is that what you learned? Where was the contacts? Again, they brought you in here because you were supposed to have the contacts to bring in certain kind of player, star players. That's what they sold us to believe.
Right.
Where was the contacts?
Him and Steve Mills together was supposed to be the dream team of recruiting, right? Think about it. Scott Perry, Steve Mills. They were supposed to have like, they were supposed to be like, a G-Man for life. You crazy? G-Man for life just hit me with a text. Like what happened is I guess because Miss Mocha, Miss Mocha was alluding to the same thing when she saw me just now. When you said David Fizdale's name and Steve Mills' name, it was like somebody gave me a double dose of lemon juice shots in my mouth, because I was like, you know how you just be disgusted. You know how you hear something you just get like you can't. It be so real. You're like, oh my God, did he just say, oh God,
ugly?
Yeah. Oh my God, man. It's crazy. But
Just absolute. And here we are thinking, all right, it can work. You know, Perry has, you know, credibility in his league. He was with the Detroit. We just came from Sacramento. Fizdale, he's been a part of championship organizations. Yeah. They're gonna somehow save Mills from himself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You now trade KP, which I was not opposed to doing.
Me either.
But what I was opposed to was trading him for a box of Sprite.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy.
Because that amounts to what you got. For those, and don't think I forgot this one. For those Knicks fans who wanted Tim Hardaway Jr. out of this uniform faster than a Greyhound, right? How good has Tim Hardaway looked over there in Dallas?
Yeah.
How good has that he got the same contract that the Knicks gave him originally 6-7 years ago when the Knicks signed him. Dallas gave him that same money yet again. How good has Tim Hardaway Jr. looked in Dallas?
Right.
My beef with Perry was they brought you in here as someone who had the lay of the land of the NBA.
Right.
Like we said, you would have pulled in KP just to do what they did in Toronto to DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
At that time, the other AD was just starting to grumble that he wanted out of New Orleans. You had the perfect trade partner. You had the perfect trading chip to make that happen.
AD, I'll be right back.
Yeah. For my Knicks fans, you had the perfect trading chip to make that happen. Right? I think you paused the show, Freezie, because I think everything looks stuck. Anyway, I'm going to go on like you didn't pause the show. No, I think you did pause the show.
Hey, you good, bro? I just got to use the restroom.
Oh, okay. I thought you paused
good.
the whole, because the live feed to that it stopped, that everything just suspended. But anyway, leave me with my audience here. Let me and them vibe up here together. Yes, where was I? Yes, the trading of KP. You trade him for a box of Sprite. And not even cold Sprite. You trade him for lukewarm Sprite that's under the cellar. Right? My beef with Perry goes like this. AD was in New Orleans and was starting to grumble that he wanted out. You had the perfect trading chip to make that maneuver, right? You don't go that route. You wait a little bit, you wait again, you make the trade with Dallas, and what did you get for KP? As much as we've moved on from that situation, what did you get for KP? Please, somebody in the chat, tell me your feelings on it. What did we get for KP? We got nothing. Draft picks, which I think one of them turned into quickly or something like that. I'm not certain, but I believe that's one of them turned into quickly. But here was our franchise player that we couldn't wait to get him out of town for a box of Sprite and some Jolly Ranchers. See what I'm saying? Going forward with this new organization, which I don't foresee them doing things like that anymore. But as we are going over the bad in the organization and things that we've done, we can't forget this. We can't forget some of those things to make sure that, you know what, we hold management accountable for some of the things that, even though they didn't do, things that happened to us anyway. Here's a young man. Is KP even 25 yet? Injury riddled, yes, but he's not a bum. He's not a bum in Dallas. He's still a good player that you traded for nothing. So even if you were going to trade him, you should have got something for him. You don't trade him, and then before you trade him, at least, you have your owner sitting there thinking that, okay, we got things coming. Which is why he used to meddle all the time, because and this is partly his fault, he hired people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. Okay? So, all right, I'm going to get off my soapbox where that is concerned, because if I stay on that, I will just sour the entire mood. But there you have it here today. The good, drafting KP, the bad, hiring and bringing back Mills, the ugly, keeping Mills in his position, and then finally Fizdale Perry, and trading KP. So that was today's The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Freezie says I'm still on, although everything looks like it is frozen here, but I'm gonna keep on rocking just because we're here. So let's keep rocking. Next topic. Here's a name that, or a time in Knicks history that I like to remember, because I remember where I was that game. Game 6, 1988, Knicks Chicago. We're down 3-2. We lost the first game of the series. You know, we win the second game of the series. You know, some of us may remember that when Mark Jackson stole the ball from Michael Jordan, you know, aka The Last Dance, aka the GOAT. I'll give him all of that because he earned all of that. And he goes running down the other side of the court and he imitates Jordan and wags his tongue. Mark Jackson in that game had 20 points and I believe 16 or 17 assists. We beat him up, you know, pretty good in that game. I think Jordan might have been like his worst game, I think, worst playoff game before that 16-point game against us years later. I think he had 14 or 15 or something to that effect. But fast forward to that game 6, Trent Tucker hit the biggest 4-point play in franchise history before the Larry Johnson's 4-point play.
At the time.
I remember.
At the time, yep.
I remember where I was. I was with my friend, my boy Jay's house. It was me, Jay, God rested dead. My boy Will, who passed away a couple of years ago. Will and another one of our friends. And on the left sideline, they hit Trent Tucker, and in one motion, Trent Tucker rose and he hit that 3.
Yeah.
And I am walking, I'm moonwalking. We're huddled up together, the 4 of us, right? My boy Jay wasn't even a Knicks fan, right? But was he in that huddle? He might have been. But I know definitely me, Will, and my other man, we was definitely huddled up. And we're like doing like a conga line kind of thing. I'm walking on my boy's mom's couch, all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
Tucker hits the shot, goes and hits the free throw, and for some reason I thought he put us in the lead.
What?
I thought he put us in the lead.
How you thought that, bro?
We were just so excited. Okay. And I don't know if you noticed, but we're frozen here. Well, at least on my vision here, we're frozen. But anyway.
I'm frozen? I'm frozen.
Right? I thought he put us in the lead. Okay? So my boy Jay jumps up and Jay goes, yo, the game ain't over. The game ain't over. Right. Y'all only tied the game. Mind you, even when he took the free throw, you'd have thought, well, as he goes to the free throw line, we'd have refocused and got ourselves back together again. Right. But I'm doing the James Brown. I'm doing all kinds of, you know what I mean? I'm doing all kinds of foolishness in my boy Jay's house. And Jay is like, yo, there's like 6 seconds left to go. Watch what's about to happen. And we're like, what's about to happen? This game is over. We're going to game 7. They inbounds. Jordan gets the ball, and you guys can look this up, you know, Knicks fans. They call a foul when Jordan got the ball against, I don't know if it was against Gerald Wilkins or whatever who was guarding him, but it was like an imaginary foul. And in that game, I think Jordan had went to the free throw line like 34 times. Some crazy amount of times he went.
Yes.
Some crazy, I mean, Freezie, it was just disgusting how many times he went to the free throw line in that game.
Right.
And he iced it. He hit the 2 free throws and he iced it. And from there on, Mark Jackson, at that point, that's kind of like where things begin to sever with him and Knicks fans.
Yep.
And you talked about, you know, with Mark Jackson. I remember because we were favored to win that series. We were supposed to be the ones to play Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals that year. Didn't happen. Chicago goes on to play them. But things started to sever between the organization and Mark Jackson, you know, because I don't know what it was. I don't think they thought he was just too brash. He was, you know, too cocky and things of that nature. But I like to point out in that closeout game, Mark Jackson had 20 and 20. Mark had 20 points and 20 assists in that game 6.
Right.
But it was just one of those things that we didn't know that, one, things would get sour, and two, Jordan was just starting to become that guy. Because I think he averaged, for that playoffs, I think he might have averaged like 37 points a game or something ridiculous.
At the time, I just want to frame this because I heard your point. Man, I took this. I take this medicine, and sometimes it just messed my system up, bro. So I'm sorry, everybody. At the time, the Chicago Bulls were not the young rising darling in the East. The two teams that were the young rising stars in the East, the young rising darlings, were the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. People looked at the Cleveland Cavaliers as the young rising star darlings in the East because they had a guy named Brad Daugherty, who was the young, solid young center, the franchise for an organization. They also had Hot Rod Williams, who was suspended and finally came back. They traded a young Kevin Johnson. Yes, that Kevin Johnson. Yes, that Kevin Johnson for a dunk contest participant named Larry Nance. Right? He was good. He was good. He was an athlete. You know what I'm saying? He was a good athlete. They had Ron Harper, who was the apple of people's eye back then because he was the same. He at the time was the same young shooting guard profile as Clyde Drexler and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
6'6", super athletic, scoring machine, except Ron Harper at that time was a more complete all-around player than but now Jordan could score, right? And was a great athlete and such. But Ron Harper was also a defensive machine at the time. Right?
Yeah.
Not saying he was better than Jordan. I'm saying at that age, at that time, Ron Harper could score. And
they just had a good team.
Yeah.
They had a great team, but they lacked. That Cleveland team is one of the teams in NBA history that people forget about. They lacked intestinal fortitude.
Right.
It was something about them that, because remember, I think they were the 2nd seed that year.
Right.
Or 3rd seed. Right. They were, no. We were 3rd because we were the Atlantic Division champs. So we were 3rd seed. They were 2nd.
No,
yeah.
Are you forgetting about the Boston Celtics?
No. We were the Atlantic Division champs in '88.
Okay.
Yeah. We were the Atlantic Division champs in '88. They were, I think, Boston might have been like 4th, right? Because Chicago, I think, you know, the seeds, 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, and so forth. So Boston was like 4th or 5th, if I remember correctly. But I know we were, when you're your division champs, you automatically get like a higher seed.
Right.
So we were Atlantic Division champs that year, and that's how we, you know, because we were favored to beat them.
Okay.
They had a young Pippen. Pippen was like in his 2nd year. Pippen wasn't even Pippen yet.
I know.
They still had Brad Sellers and Dave Corzine but they just had
Stacey
that dude.
King. What's the other guy from?
They didn't even have Stacey yet. I think Stacey might have came out like
89. Stacey King came in 89. Yeah.
Right. They didn't have Stacey yet.
Cliff Livingston.
Yeah, Cliff Hodges. I think they might have just got. I think Hodges was on that team. Yeah, they didn't have, but they had him, and he was and is. I'm that guy.
Right.
If there ever was a player in any sport, whether team sports, individual sport, he was that guy.
Okay.
And he hated to lose.
Right.
And he was going to do any and everything. And he had the respect of the league. Because like I said, he went to the free throw line like 30-something times that game.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It was so not to cut you off, bro. Not to cut you off. But the NBA commissioner is a kingmaker. Right?
Yes.
That's what his job is. His job is to find a young star or matchup and push that guy to the top so he can carry the league.
Yes.
Right? Adam Silver did it with LeBron James. Right? David Stern did it with Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Right? Larry O'Brien did it with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know what I'm saying? So they're kingmakers, bro. And so what happens is whoever the young ascending prince is, they are gonna get all the TV coverage, because in theory, what Larry O'Brien should have done is push the Lakers Celtics thing to unworldly, you know what I'm saying, things. But he didn't.
He wasn't thinking like that.
Larry, because his thing was league expansion. Larry O'Brien was thinking league expansion. He wasn't thinking thinking like one guy can carry a league.
Yeah, Larry wasn't at because remember when I really started coming into basketball, it's like at the end of Larry O'Brien's tenure.
Yeah, like 85, like 84, 85. I mean, 80, I'm sorry, like 82, 83.
82, 83, right? So as much problems as I've had with David Stern and so forth, Stern and his people had vision.
Right.
They saw where the game needed to go.
Right.
As far as to try and recapture its popularity. Because remember, for a lot of people who don't remember, they used to call the Knickerbockers the Niggerbockers.
Right. Yep.
Basketball was perceived as a totally black dominated sport.
Right.
And middle America and most of America did not want to watch a bunch of black men in their shorts running up and down with these white cheerleaders and so forth there at the halftime and so forth, cheering for them. And they didn't want their women watching these black men running up and down in sports. And it was also, that game at that time was also thought of as a selfish game.
Right.
Because they had no great white player at that time.
Right.
What?
Oh, wait. Let me say something to that.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a bunch of great white players, bro, but they weren't marketable. There was a bunch of great, because you can't say that and then say say that Dan Issel wasn't a great player. Dan Issel was a great player, but he wasn't marketable, bro.
But they were kind of like how black pepper is on white rice. You don't really notice it that much, especially when you mix it around.
Right, and so. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying because I understand your point. But the thing is, those dudes were not marketable. They were like black pepper on white rice. They were there and they were significant, but they wasn't. But these cats weren't Larry Bird, bro. You know what I'm saying?
No.
These dudes didn't jump off your TV screen. See, Larry Bird jumped off your TV screen by doing stuff that made black players notice. Dan Issel was a great player. Rick Barry was a great player. Bill Walton was a great player, bro. You know
but my thing is,
Tom Chambers, Danny, the class of '81 had a bunch of great players, bro. I saw. Okay, something happened. Something happened. To
no,
AD.
definitely, they definitely had a bunch of my. Here's my point. The game had gotten so black in the eyes of the powers that be. Was those guys, to your point, didn't have it.
They didn't have it. Yep.
The league does this twice. Fast forward, the league expands to the Euro game, which is all of a sudden they started drafting all of these Euro guys, even the ones who weren't good, just for the mere fact that, sorry, they were white.
Right.
To help, balance the league. At that moment in time, in Stern's, defense and so forth, was he sees that college basketball ratings are killing NBA ratings.
Yep.
The Michigan State, Indiana State game, their ratings were better than the NBA Finals, which was on tape delay.
Yep.
How college basketball have built in that David and Goliath kind of thing, that Popeye and Brutus kind of thing. He was smart enough to say, you know what? We're going to do that.
Right.
And we're going to help LA get Magic.
Right.
And you, Boston, you had Bird's rights from the previous year. From the previous year, we're going to make that. We're going to help make that happen. This is only good business. This is good business. You see what I'm saying?
But the thing is, okay. I feel
we did it before. Remember, the ABA did this same thing when they allowed the Virginia Squires to trade Dr. J to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because why? Their teams were faltering. Their ratings were faltering. So they need his extra oomph in New York. That's only good business. And Stern capitalized on all of that. And then let's get some of the best and brightest that's on Wall Street come up with some catchy slogans. Remember that? The NBA is fantastic.
Yeah.
Remember that slogan? All of a sudden, all you kept seeing was Jack Nicholson and whoever the hot actors or actress was. They seem to always be at Laker games.
Yeah.
Right? And you're capitalizing on that.
And the other thing too, to go with, and people don't think about this, but this is the reason why the Knicks got the short end of the stick when they should have been, when they ran the stick factory, right? The Knicks were in a position to run the stick factory, and they got the short end of the stick. David Stern started negotiating sponsorship deals outside of the NBA, started getting in cahoots and doing partnerships with brands like Nike and Adidas and Reebok, you know what I'm saying, Champion and things like that. And they started showcasing these brands and putting partnerships together. And the Knicks were not smart enough to understand that getting player X, you know what I'm saying, instead of doing the spun. Because okay, so if you ask me, and AD, I gotta wrap up, man. This medicine is killing me, bro. But if you ask me, did the Knicks always draft the best basketball player? I'm gonna say no, right? But I think the Bulls, when they drafted Michael Jordan, right? People don't forget, Michael Jordan did not want to sign with Nike. He wanted to sign with Adidas.
Yes.
Right. He wanted, but they were in a diner, and I heard this story. There's a documentary out there somewhere. Some guy, the dude at Adidas, Sonny Vaccaro.
Sonny Vaccaro.
Yeah. I can't remember if he was at Adidas or Nike at the time. I think he was at Adidas. He said they were at a diner in North Carolina, right? And they were sitting down with Michael Jordan, and Mike was mad because he got drafted by the Bulls because his mom said red and black were the devil's colors. This is how country they is. You know what I'm saying? This is how country people was back then. Red and black was the devil's colors. And so Sonny was like, yo, but if you'd have got drafted second, you'd have went to Portland. And Michael Jordan's like, but no, they wear black and red. They wear black and red. They don't wear red and black. This is how country people are, right? Naive people are, right? So they like, Adidas is willing to offer you such and such and such and such. So Nike comes in and says, hey, we are going to offer you 5 times the money and give you a signature shoe. And these dummies are like, why would I want to sign a shoe? Right? And so this is how I'll let you know how naive people are. Sign a shoe. Why would I want to wear a shoe with my signature on it? No, dummy. We're gonna give you your own shoe.
Your own shoe.
Right. And this is how groundbreaking it is, right?
They didn't know.
They didn't know. They didn't. Nike was like, Nike is like, because at the time, Adidas had a better quality shoe than Nike, right?
Yes.
Nike was innovative, but they didn't have the quality of basketball shoe that the classic team. They didn't have the quality of a Converse of Adidas. So they were like talking to Mike like, we're going to give you your own shoe. And he was like, and they were talking like, well, what's the name of the shoe going to be? It's going to be called Jordan. Right? He's like, what? And so they talked Mike into this thing. And the only reason why Mike signed with them is because the NBA was like, Mike, sign with Jordan, and the NBA will push you and Nike so the league can make money off of Air Jordan shoes. The league that we're going to push you, you're going to be the face of the league, right? You're going to be the face of the league someday. After Magic retire, you'll be the face of the league, and it'll help everybody. And so at the time when other teams heard it, they were like, why are you pushing this guy? You're going to make the Chicago Bulls the NBA. But what the league didn't understand at the time was the money that they make off these endorsement, these side deals, you know what I'm saying, these backroom deals, is it didn't just help Michael Jordan or the Chicago Bulls, but it helped every franchise. If you push Michael Jordan to the front and put Michael Jordan on TV wearing these Air Jordan shoes that are super expensive, all these kids spend money on these Air Jordan shoes, all of a sudden, struggling markets like New Jersey benefits off Michael Jordan wearing Air Jordans on Sunday afternoon because the Jordan brand brings money into the league and everybody in the league eats.
That's brilliant marketing.
That's David Stern.
That's just brilliant business. He just knew, when they took the league from CBS, NBC outbid for years. It was on CBS.
Right.
It was Dick Stockton and his name skips me right now, but Celtic. That's who it was. Tommy Heinsohn. Yeah. Dick Stockton and Heinsohn. Then they moved to NBC, bought the rights out, moved to NBC. It just seemed like a bigger production. Then you got the NBA show, with
NBA Showtime.
Yeah, NBA Showtime.
Yeah.
And everything just seemed at
and now you got your Ahmad Rashads on with what's the guy name?
Who's a football guy? Ahmad Rashad is a football guy.
Right. Dick Ebersol, the dude that used to produce the Olympics. He produced the '84 Olympics, right?
Yeah.
He was like, he went to David Stern and said, we will produce your Sunday afternoon NBA game just like we produced the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right.
It just got bigger.
So what's the dude? The little guy, the little guy that I see his face. I watched a YouTube video on this yesterday. What's the guy name? I forget his name, but he used to do Knicks games back in the day.
Marv Albert?
No, not Marv. but he did games with Marv. They had a rapport. God dog it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I cannot remember his name.
Baseball guy.
He did baseball and
baseball
bat. He used to do the panel on the panel. Like anytime there was a controversy, he would go get the guys and bring. You remember when Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen both played for the Rockets, and Scottie Pippen called Charles Barkley fat and out of shape, and he brought them both together. I forget the guy name.
Costa. His last name is Costa. Costas.
Bob Costas.
Bob
Costas. That's his name. That's his name. Yeah, you're right.
Bob Costas. Yeah.
So Bob Costas used to host the NBA Showtime show before that. So it was a pregame before the pregame. Remember, they would do the pregame for an hour, and then they would kick it to the on-site guys, whoever was calling the game, Marv Albert and whoever. They would do it for 30 minutes, and then the game would start. And it was almost like you was watching an Olympic type event, right? Yeah. Before the game went live. But before that, it was tape delay 11:45 on CBS late night, and it wasn't even worth watching.
No, because they just knew, like with the new marketing people and so forth, because if you go back in some of these old Knick games and so forth, as you're talking about the old pregame setup, when you hear the Bob Costas or the Marv Albert voiceover, and you hear the drama that's leading into the game, and you're hearing dun, 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 dun. That's the NBA game, and then they go right in live, and you can hardly hear yourself because whatever arena it was going to be, it was going to be loud and crazy, and those are just some great times, Freezie. Just some great NBA times and stuff. So I'm glad we ended on that note.
All right.
That note and so forth. But you text me about something the other day. Let me know when you want to do that, because I love talking about that as well. So let me know.
Right. Hey, no doubt. I changed the name of the channel to Huddle Up. And and what we'll do is at some point, and this is for everybody listening to. So Huddle Up is an all sports all the time channel, right? All sports. So we'll jump on there, and once we figure out a schedule for it, we'll let everybody know. But what we'll probably do is go live occasionally when AD has some free time and I'm free. We'll just go live, jump on there, and put on some stuff, put on some content. Maybe talk about how Muhammad Ali is not the greatest boxer of all time.
Greatest of all,
but the greatest personality of all time.
The greatest of all times. I was watching because last night, I'm gonna tell you, when you hit me, I was watching some Pacquiao, Eric Morales 1, and Pacquiao, Eric Morales 2. Then a name popped into my head that I'm sure you remember. Michael Nunn.
Yes.
Michael Nunn. I'm watching Michael Nunn against Rodin, and for a lot of people don't know that Michael Nunn was the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. This is after the Leonard Hagler, those era.
Right.
And Michael Nunn recently came home from doing a bid for 24 years.
What?
Michael Nunn went to jail for 24 years.
Oh my God.
Prime of his career. I can't remember. He did a YouTube interview. I can't remember what he did to land himself in prison. But Michael Nunn, former undisputed middleweight champion of the world, is now home. But he talks about it as far as, I got to rewatch that or watch the whole clip of it, that he's home. For some of you, boxing fans out there, YouTube
he was after Terry Norris and Julian
Jackson.
Julian Jackson. He was after them, right?
No, he was right around that same era, but his era ushers in the end of the Hagler, Hearns, Leonard era. When it's him,
Michael Nunn.
No,
bro, you sure?
Yeah, when it's him, Iran Barkley, James Toney, Frank Tate, all of those guys in the middle.
Julian Jackson was in that same.
Yeah, it was in the same time. Julian Jackson was junior middleweight champion. Terry North was there as well. Terrible Terry. That junior middleweight division.
Right.
As much as we love the Hagler, Leonard, Beast Mugabe, all those guys, that was a better era than their
Who
era.
had more power? Who had more power than John the Beast Mugabe, bro? For his weight, pound for pound. Maybe Julian Jackson.
Julian Jackson and McLennan.
Yeah.
And Gerald McLennan.
I saw Gerald McLennan hit Julian. Bro, I saw Gerald McLennan hit Julian Jackson. I thought he knocked his head off, bro.
I think Julian Jackson might have only went the distance 3 times.
Yeah.
Julian Jackson laid people out.
Right.
Like literally. That was Julian Jackson. So let me know, sir. We can get on that all sports, I'm
gonna send it.
I got some baseball in me. I got some baseball in me too. That's really my first love.
You know what I really wanted to talk about on Huddle Up. And I'm not a Jets fan, but I want to talk about the debacle, which is the New York Jets. The debacle, which is the New York Jets. And I'm talking about Rich Kotite. I'm talking about Blair Thomas. You know what I'm saying? Yo, so
that's where we going. That's where we going. That's where we go.
I gotta get this. So and for those that and I want to apologize to the chat and for the people watching. So I'm diabetic and I take this medicine, right? And what happens is sometimes I'll be straight and then sometimes it just wreck my system. So sometimes I just gotta jump off the camera, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like just now I was drinking ginger ale. I usually don't even drink soda. I'm not a soda drinker, but for some ginger ale kind of corrects your stomach sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I want to apologize to everybody for that. I usually don't try to jump off, but in this case, bro, I gotta do what I got. I'm human. I know I look like an android. I know y'all look at these trapezius muscles and be like, yo, Uncle Freezie spent a lot of time in the gym. Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the gym. I'm also diabetic, bro. So,
Hey, Freezie, you got to take your health more seriously because, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've talked about this before. I've taken my health a lot more seriously. I've been building a little gym in my house now. I walk a lot of exercising, got my bike. You know what I mean? Just a lot of green teas, a lot of water and stuff. Things that we used to do, especially that what young people can do, and they can just do it all day, every day,
right?
And not care about it. To try and preserve for another, another long run.
Right.
You got to take your health and stuff more seriously. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to you. I see you out there. I see you slimming down. I see you doing your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
That's the only way we're gonna be here.
Yeah, dude. So we got to, bro. I probably walk about 8 or 9 miles a day, right? And that's not a lot, I guess, for others that do like 15. But walking, man, that's bro. That's a lot. You know
I thought I was doing a lot of walking every day. Wow, you killing me, Freezie.
Yeah, a lot, bro. And so I don't want to at this weight, because AD, listen, before we go, what I wanted to do. So my goal is to get back in the ring, right? So I want to box, and I think I told you this before. It's like 6 or 7 dudes that I know.
All right, if you box, I'm gonna come down and come be your cornerman.
Right.
If you serious and you gonna get into it, I'm gonna come down and gonna be your cornerman. Right. I'm gonna be there, Freezie. He'll knock you in tomorrow, Freezie.
Right. Hey. So these dudes, so no lie. So these dudes, you know what I'm saying? These dudes, they can crack. The dudes I'm talking about, they young, they like in their early 30s. They can crack, bro. You know what I'm saying? But they don't take the game serious. Like I'm talking to them about defense, right? I'm like, they like, I'm like, yo, so defensively, they like, yeah, I put my hands up. I'm like, so defense ain't about putting your hands up, bro. Defense is about being in a position where the dude can't throw a punch. That's defense. Defense is about getting yourself in position where either they can't throw a punch or when they throw the punch, they throw punches out of position. You know what I'm saying? Defense is not about standing there covering up and having people beat down the door. That's not defense. letting them beat down the door is not defense. And they
No.
like, yo, what is beating down the door? Or like when they throw wild haymakers up against your guard, whether it's your Philly shell, whether you doing your shoulders, whether you shoulder rolling, whether you classic, you know what I'm saying? Whatever defense you use, it's not about that, bro. It's about them lunging to throw punches and being off balance so you don't get hit and you can counter. That's defense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I talk to these dudes, man. But you can't, AD, I need a corner man. But I'm gonna tell you, when my corner man, you got to have some Heinekens and Newports in the corner, bro.
I got you.
After 3 minutes, bro, I'm gonna need an ice cold Heineken in the corner.
I got you. And a bag of Doritos on top of it. I got you.
and a fan. I'm gonna need one of those fans that.
I don't know why you want to get back into the ring at this stage, but hey, if you get back into the ring, if you getting back to the ring, I'm coming down to be the corner man.
Because of the training, bro. Yeah, because of the training. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
the training gets you because the best exercise that you can do is jump and rope. Bro, jump and rope for 180 seconds, 3 minutes. When you finish, bro, you just want to lay down on the ground and go to sleep, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it wear you out. So that's why you always see boxers skipping rope. You know what I'm saying? Bro,
Right.
Jump rope, bro. Jump rope.
But they skip rope. They skip rope, and I don't even know. Like I was watching Roberto Duran, like some of his old skipping rope exercises, and I'm like, dude, my God, that's not even skipping rope. That's something else.
The pace.
Not just the pace, but boxers, they will, they swing it one side and then he'll be on the floor. He'll literally be doing the old Chuck Berry duck walk on the floor,
right? Getting
his move on. I'm like, that's not skipping rope. That's something like you invented some new stuff.
That's alien, bro.
Yeah, that's
alien.
I've always respected the sweet science and the boxers, and it's that to me, when there's a great fight, there is nothing, not game 7 in no other sport. When there is a great fight in the air, you can feel it. It just permeates through everybody, and you rewatch it and relive it again. Like I said, I watched some classics last night, just to relive.
Because you'd be willing to pay for a great fight. You ain't willing to pay for a game 7. I like
no,
for instance,
you're not.
If the NFL says, hey, we are gonna move the Super Bowl to pay-per-view, which they should do, by the way. The NFL should move the Super Bowl to pay-per-view. It'll be the smartest thing that they ever did in terms of money. Right, the salary cap for all teams will go through the roof. But listen, but here's the thing: you will pay for a Pacquiao Mayweather. You'll pay that $100 or whatever. Yes. But you won't pay for a Super Bowl Chief versus Bucks. It's free on TV. What?
Yeah. We paid for Mayweather McGregor.
Yes, and McGregor ain't even a boxer.
He's not even a boxer.
Right.
Not even a boxer.
That's what I'm
saying. We paid for that. But go ahead, Freezie. I know you got to run, sir. But once again, this has been Old School Knicks and Beyond. We got to change the name. Maybe the Old School Knicks and Beyond. Yeah.
Hey, but I got. Maybe we could do Old School Knicks here and then do the Beyond stuff on Huddle Up.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Knicks family in the chat. Salute to all of you. Y'all know what it is. We here every Sunday at 11 o'clock. Me and my main man, Uncle Freezie, J Boogie. Thanks for stopping through. Chris making that cameo appearance. You know what I'm saying? Come on down. Come on. We kicking it. Old school Knicks.
Right.
We touched on a few topics today. Damn, J Boogie had me on my thing here earlier today. Even when the camera was frozen, we still going. We still flowing.
Yeah, man. And so maybe we could do the Jets talk this week some point.
All right, you let me know. I got all the pain. I got as much Jet pain as I got Knicks pain, so I got all the pain to spew. Not a problem.
All right, y'all.
All right,
Hey,
Uncle
hey,
Freezie.
hey, hey. Salute everybody. Y'all have a good week.